play music. Who came up with that? Oh, this is really
First my trial was not so easy.
I'm sure you weren't the only.
Yes, sir, usually. It's going to be playing out there live in the lobby for people out there. Incidentally, Mayor, all department directors that are not present tonight will be calling in or will be available should they be needed.
Tuesday, March 17, 2020, City of Somerton Regional Council Meeting. Call this meeting to order. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Waiting for the clerk, she should be online to do that. If not, Mayor Gerardo Renaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Martha Garcia,
Present.
Councilmember Villapalma,
President.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilmember Roldan, Councilmember Roldan, Councilmember Galindo, Councilmember Galindo. If you're muted, we may not be hearing you. And Councilmember Castillo.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have the forum.
Welcome, and we're being streamed on YouTube. Just want to say a few
Mayor,
words.
I just checked in. I'm sorry. This is Councilmember Roland.
Okay. Yeah, we're being streamed on YouTube, and people at home who, I signed the declaration of emergency declaration on Sunday, and like I said at the time, there's still no confirmed cases here in Yuma County. It was done as a proactive measure. We're working with all the Yuma County mayors. We're going to have daily briefings with the governor. Tomorrow we have, and we're working with the CDC and just trying to be proactive with this pandemic. We, today we're on a conference call with Governor Ducey, And there's been concerns of business closing. As of right now, we're following the CDC's recommendations, and right now there is no Somerton, as I said, it's not we haven't had a confirmed case, and there hasn't been community spread, and if that's the case, then other measures are gonna be taken, but as of now, as of tonight, we're still gonna continue operating under the same, and as you can see, we asked for being proactive. We asked for other council members to call in, and staff also, only the ones that are gonna present are here, but everybody is available by phone. So we're trying to be proactive and cope as best we can with this epidemic, and other cities here in the county are also following suit. Okay, so now moving on to call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
¿Alguna persona del público que quiera dirigirse al consejo del ayuntamiento?
Yes. And, Mr. Mayor, just a reminder to our speakers, if they can please state their name and address for the record, and they are limited to 5 minutes.
State your name and address. You got 5 minutes to speak.
Okay. My name is David Elias. I'm in 5th grade. And I live on Columbia 8th Street. And I'm here to ask for you to help improve the current fields and build a new park for sports and all activities. I've lived my whole life in Somerton, and the way the parks are in their current state right now makes it difficult to play the sports that I love, such as soccer, football, and baseball. Some fields are actually dangerous from them having broken fences, holes in the dirt, and more. That's why I hope the City Council helps with the budget to improve the parks, and I believe we should make a new complex to attract neighboring cities to come to us instead of us going to them, driving like 2 hours to get there. Like I always have to drive to Yuma because the state of the parks in Somerton. So I hope you consider our proposal because all of Somerton will benefit from it, and it will make a huge difference for us kids in Somerton.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
I sit back there.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Sasweta, and I'm a student at Somerton Middle School. What I came here to explain is that we need, if you guys could help us with the fields as well, like David said, they're really unsafe sometimes. Like Joe Munoz, there's a lot of holes in the dirt, which could lead to like a lot of, like if you're taking, like for baseball, a lot of ground balls that could pop up and hit the players in the face. It could hurt up, and we need them to be fixed. Also, like what David said, it would be good for another complex to attract those cities too, so more kids could play, and there's more opportunities for practices to help us like stay active in Somerton. Thank you, guys.
If I may just ask the callers who are on the line to put your phones on mute if you're not speaking at this time.
Did the callers hear that? If you can put it on mute, because there's a lot of noise here in the meeting. And if you need to speak, unmute it. Thank you.
Adds a big echo to it. You can't hardly understand what they're saying.
No work on it.
Can you please put the phone on mute if you're not talking? Thank you. Good evening, Council. My name is Olegario Zazueta, and I'm sorry on behalf of the Parks and Rec Commission that we have here in Somerton. And we have discussed previously with some of the members, and I guess our point to helping out with the high school's new parks and new facilities that require for us to be able to have a high school. And we're all for it because we know the necessity of our community is so that we do need a new high school. But we do have a concern about how much should the city invest in those parks. We don't want to burn the city without that extra expense. And also our concern is that we have a few parks already as it is, and the maintenance of them. Okay, so one of our concerns is that how are we going to mitigate those expenses with the new maintenance of these new fields, and how much of the high school district is actually going to be responsible for them. I know some of the other high schools, they share fields between the cities and the high school, and I'm not sure how they run the maintenance on that, but I know it is a big expense, and that our fields that we currently have are lacking that maintenance. So I speak for myself, but I know our council has also talked a little bit, and that has been one of our main concerns. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, Victor Lozano, 223 East Main Street, Somerton. I'm just here. I brought everyone a copy of my report. I'm sure some of you have heard issues with the soccer league, and I would like for you guys to take a moment and read my report and go from there. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to call me. I think this has just been a real bad situation with the people in charge of the league, the way they want to do some stuff, and it ended up in a bad situation. And like I said, prior to my report, I did apologize to him, but apparently it didn't work. So here's my report. I'm going to give a copy of it to Ian, and I've got letters from probably about 15 or 16 parents. There's a lot of the kids that wanted to come, but we told them just one or two for the day. But if we need to have them all in a meeting so that anyone wants to talk to them or whatever, we're available. But I'm just here to tell you that I am very disappointed with the way the Somerton League has been running it. And I'm sorry to say that there is incompetence on your employees out there. And not just me that I've seen it, but everybody else. And I'm sure that if we were to try to get people in here, we could fill this room with no problem. We don't want to get to that. I just want mayor and council and city staff to look back and see what my report says and look at their report, because there's big differences. And I just don't think it's right. This is Brandon. He's one of my players in the team, and he would like to speak also. Tell him your name and your address.
My name is Brandon, and I live in 313 East Church Street in the street. And I think it's like not fair, because sometimes when we play, like the Somerton league, when the referees, they all sometimes like they tell us, and sometimes they give the coach a yellow card, but it's because they're telling them that it was like kind of not fair, because they were just when we got it out, like they and the other team did it wrong, like they just let them try again. But when the first time that they got out, we did it wrong, like we immediately changed stay before when we got the uniforms, because when we got the uniforms, like it didn't fit on some of them, so we went and like I think it's not fair because like he had to pay to be the coach, and I think that he could stay with the uniforms because he already paid for he could be a coach in the soccer league. And so we went for the uniforms, and then we like on the third game that we played, that they told us that we had to bring the uniform tomorrow. Like everybody was like went and told them by why, and then like we started talking, and so they were telling us that we couldn't put it in uniform because they're gonna change it, and so we had to bring all the uniforms here, and that's all.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, thanks for listening to our says on this. I do have a copy that I'm going to leave here with Ian. This was given to me after the roster, after everything was accepted. Your city employees still kept giving us players when they said no more players. And by the way, I did have the opportunity to come and talk to Mr. Ian. He did a great job of accepting me to come and visit, but apparently we couldn't do anything about it. And this is to show you that afterwards, they were still sending out kids to play in my team when they said no more kids. I think that's all I got. The biggest issue that we have, it all started with your uniforms, and no one would want to handle the problem. Mr. Mesa was never available for me until last week. I think it was Friday that this issue happened. That's when he was available. That's it, and I'll leave all my copies to Mr. Young here. Thank you. Of the expenses of the uniform that they said that we couldn't use, so we'll leave that there.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Martin Porchas, 457 East Patricia Street. I want to commend David and the other young gentlemen that talked about the parks here. 1997, 98, I myself started the soccer league in here in Somerton because the kids used to travel to Yuma. We had certain issues with the soccer league, and I decided to start our own league here. It's been incredible how the soccer league and other sports have evolved and grown. If you go out when the leagues are in season, the parks are saturated, and I've seen it since the very beginning. Different fields. In one field, you got 2 or 3 fields, which is normal. But I do think with the new high school coming, that we do need a park that will accommodate the growth of Somerton, but also just what we have right now. And I know that the school really works with the city, and we use their fields. But some of the fields are really in dire strait of maintenance. And I think the maintenance is done, but leveling out the fields or the holes that they have. I'm not talking anything bad about the city, with the parks. I mean, we have great parks, but I think it's time that that the city looks into really improving a lot of the fields, and hopefully the community really supports a big complex that'll be for the future of our kids here in Somerton. So anything that I can help with or that I can be involved, just let me know. You know that I've always been for Somerton and part of Somerton, that I'll do whatever I need to do to get this thing going. Thank you.
Any other members of the public?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Council. So right now, I'm here in support of Coach Jennifer Mendoza. Address of my home? 395 East Cano Street. Okay, I am here in support of Coach Lozano. As you guys know, there was a lot of stuff going on with the games and the uniforms, and I personally came to talk with Jesus Mesa, I believe that's his name. And we had a meeting with him. We explained everything that was going on. I was there when the employees had all of the parents in a circle telling them that Coach Lozano was irresponsible, that he was a liar, that he never came to any meetings. And then at that moment, Coach Lozano was across the field. By this time, the games were over. It was probably 30 minutes after the game was over. It was me and maybe like 5 other parents that were there. And there was this, what's his name? Martin and Oscar were there. And they were both saying, okay, you guys are saying all of these things about Coach Lozano, but I'm telling you, like, he is not who you guys think he is. And by the way, where is he? Like, trying to start some drama. So they both went, where's Coach Lozano? And we're like, oh, well, he's over there. Okay, so and by then my dad came. And then what happened was that he had gotten close to them. And then he was like, I don't agree with what you're saying. He did raise his voice. But it was nothing to the extent of them, because I was here in the meeting where they were saying that they were going to get into a fight. And that never happened. I feel like the way that they handled the situation was very hostile, because they were saying, if you guys don't do this, you guys are disqualified for the rest of the season. So I asked him, who sent you to tell us that we're disqualified? They're like, well, my boss. Okay, well, who's your boss? And they're like, oh, Jesus Mesa sent us here to tell you guys that if the uniforms aren't returned tomorrow by 5 p.m., you guys are disqualified. So obviously us parents, we were just pissed off. We're like, how are they going to take us out? So, yeah. And then, again, when we came to the meeting with Jesus Mesa, I felt he was very biased. We were like, okay, Jesus, like, what's your resolution for what's going on? Okay, well, Coach Lozano is going to be dismissed. He's not coming back, and you guys need to find another coach. I don't know where you're going to find your coach, but you need to find him. Maybe one of your parents can be a coach. We're like, we all work. You know, Coach Lozano does this because he has the time to do this. You know, he didn't have an 8 to 5 where he doesn't have an 8 to 5. So he's available always. So then they're like, well, I don't know where you guys are going to find your coach, but you need to find one. So then we're like, okay, well, what other option can you give us? And then he showed us a contract of City of Somerton. They're like, Coach Lozano signed this contract saying that he would be respectful, he would be always on time, he would do this, he would do that. And in the bottom, I saw that it read that if there was a problem, he would get a warning, a written warning. So I was like, have you guys read this contract? And they're like, yeah, we read it. Okay, but it said that he would get a written warning, which you guys went straight to termination of volunteering. They're like, yeah, well, that's what we felt was right. I was like, okay, you guys just took that step. And what about the kids? Like, the kids are the ones suffering. I haven't told my son yet that he doesn't have a coach, because he loves soccer and he loves the way that he's getting coached. because they practice at least 2 times a week for like an hour and a half, and they get trained pretty good, which I'm happy with, and he's learning soccer really good. So just the whole situation was very unfortunate by both parts. I mean, it was the city employees' fault, some of it was Coach Lozano's fault, but the step that you guys took to the termination, I just don't agree with. You know, he could have had a written warning first, and hey, if this situation happens again, you know, we'll talk about it, but there wasn't. So now we're stuck without a coach. So hopefully we can get this fixed. Thank you. Does he have the time to speak or no?
But hopefully, we heard about the uniform, we heard about the issue, hopefully it's
Another situation?
Yeah.
some other.
Yeah, basically, my name is Johnny Mendoza, 395 East Candle Street. Same in support for Victor Lozano. My only disagreement was the employees approaching them, threatening to disqualify the team. I find him to be an excellent role model to these kids. He has no problem picking them up. Yeah, he doesn't have a 9 to 5, but we're all busy. You know, however you look at it. He takes the time, pick up these kids, sometimes drop them off, stay an hour late because parents can't pick them up right away. These kids are at a delicate time in their life, and I see him building up their self-esteem. I've seen them for about 3 years now, and they're growing, and they're going to be excellent kids. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Anybody else from the public?
There's one more person.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Muchas gracias primero que nada por su tiempo.
Thanks a lot for your time, first of all.
Mi nombre es Diana Tapia
My name is Diana Tapia,
y yo vengo a apoyar al coach Víctor
and
Lozano.
I come to support Coach Victor Lozano.
Yo soy mamá de uno de los niños que juegan con él
I am the mother of one of the children that plays with him, for him,
y pues vengo yo a pedir que él regrese como coach
and I came to request that he returns as a coach
porque él le pone pasión a lo que hace con los niños.
because he puts a lot of passion in what he does with the kids.
El trabajo es voluntariado
The job is a volunteer,
y él invierte dinero
and he
y
invests
tiempo en los niños
money and time in the children
porque aún por los niños, incluyendo mi hijo,
because some kids, including mine,
que a veces no lo puedo llevar a las prácticas,
that sometimes I'm not able to take him to the practices,
pasa por ellos y los levanta.
he will stop by and pick them up.
También vengo a pedir
I am also here to request
que las personas de la ciudad de deportes que aprobaron
that the individuals from the city, from the sports that approved,
que invirtiéramos los padres tiempo y dinero en uniformes,
that as the parents invest money and time in the uniforms,
sostenga su palabra
hold on to their word,
y su palabra tenga valor,
and that it has value
porque ellos nos aprobaron los uniformes.
because they approved the uniforms.
Entonces a mí se me hace injusto
And so I think it's unjust
que dijeron que el color lo tenía otro equipo,
that they said that the color was another team had it.
cuando ellos antes del sábado 29 ya
When
habían mirado la
they-
foto del uniforme.
Before Saturday 29th had already seen the picture, la foto del uniforme?
Sí.
The picture of the uniform.
Por texto se la mandé a Jesús Mesa,
By text, I sent it to Jesus Mesa.
aquí tengo captura,
I have the proof here.
y el día 29 en la fiesta de Somerton se lo
And the
enseñé a
day
Oscar.
29th in the Somerton party, I showed it to
Oscar,
to Oscar.
y le agradecí por permitirnos
And I thank him
hacer los uniformes.
for allowing us to make the uniforms.
Todavía era tiempo de decirnos que
There
no o
was
de
still
cambiar el color.
time to tell us no, to change the color.
En el segundo partido
In the second game,
dijeron que si no llevábamos el uniforme que era nos podían descalificar cuando
they
tenemos
said if we didn't take the uniform that we were supposed to have, they were going to disqualify us.
si no llevamos el uniforme que nos habían dado primero.
If we did not take the uniform that they had given us first.
Los uniformes los mandamos a hacer porque a nuestros niños no les quedaban.
The
les
uniforms,
apretaban.
we had them made because they were not a good fit.
A la
They were
mayoría,
tight
a la mayoría.
for most of them.
Incluyendo el de mi hijo, lo traje para atrás.
Including my
está roto.
son's, I brought it back and it ripped.
Por eso pedimos autorización primero.
That's why we requested authorization first.
Se invirtió horas de tiempo para mandar a
We
hacer los
invested
uniformes.
hours and time to have those uniforms made.
En lo personal yo puse $100
Personally, I put $100
y el coach puso el resto del
and
dinero.
coach put the rest of the money.
El día del incidente del parque,
On the day of the incident at the park,
ese día fue cuando dijeron que nos iban a descalificar a nuestros hijos
that day is when they said that they were going to disqualify our children
cuando llevamos ganado 2 partidos.
when we had already won 2 games.
Entonces las mamás nos acercamos a Martín
And so the mothers, we approached Martin,
inconformes
and we were not pleased
porque nos iban a descalificar
because they were going to disqualify us,
y por el uniforme que se nos había permitido hacer y
and
luego siempre
because
no.
of the uniform that they had allowed us to have made, and that later they said no.
Entonces allí estuvieron diciendo que el coach no estaba presente
So they were saying the coach was not present, Victor,
y estuvieron diciendo que él era un mentiroso
and they were saying that he was a liar
porque le habían dicho que trajera primero los uniformes.
because they had told him to first
Que
bring the
todavía no habían aprobado.
uniforms, that they had not yet approved them.
Para mí en lo personal estuvieron
To
incitando
me, personally, they were inciting.
porque a un hombre adulto que le digan es un mentiroso
For an adult man
Es
to
un
be told that
irresponsable.
he's a liar, that he's
Cuando no lo es
irresponsible
en su cara.
when he's not, and to tell him in his face,
es molesto. Creo
it's
que
very
creo que ningún
bothersome.
adulto aquí lo
I
permitiera.
don't think that any adult here would allow it.
Y más cuando la palabra de cada uno de ustedes tiene valor.
And also because the word of each one of you has value.
Entonces, yo también digo, ¿dónde está el valor
So
de la
I also
palabra
say,
de
where's
los que
the
aprobaron los
value
uniformes?
of the words of the people that approve the uniforms?
Estuvieron diciendo que era un
They were
irresponsable,
saying that he was irresponsible,
que no iban a las juntas.
that he wouldn't go to the meetings.
Cuando yo el coach,
When the coach arrived,
es cuando dijeron que era mentiroso y
is when he
irresponsable.
said he was a liar and irresponsible.
Y obviamente el coach se
And
enojó,
obviously, the coach got mad
porque ya antes de eso,
because before that,
un partido antes le sacaron
One
una tarjeta
game
amarilla
prior,
solo a él.
they had taken a yellow card only
Cuando
towards him
se estuvieron dirigiendo
when 2 coaches were addressing each other.
también
And also,
ese día durante el partido,
that day during the
fueron y
game,
dijeron que nos iban a descalificar.
they went and told him that we were going to be disqualified.
Para mí eso es incitar,
To me, that's to incite
porque era injusto.
because it was not just.
Si nos hubieran descalificado justamente,
If they would have disqualified us justly,
pero ellos habían aprobado los uniformes,
but they had approved the uniforms,
era injusto.
it was unjust.
Entonces realmente estábamos molestos algunos padres
So, in all honesty, we were very upset. Some of the parents,
De hecho, algunos padres, si se fijan en Google, en la página de la
some of the
ciudad, han
parents,
dejado
in
saber
fact,
su
in
inconformidad.
Google, in the city page, they have let their inconformity known.
Yo también iba a poner mi opinión,
I was going to put my opinion as well,
pero no lo hice
but I did not do it
porque no es justo que lo lleve todo el equipo de la ciudad
because it's not just for the whole, it's not fair for
por
the
ciertas
whole
personas
team of the city to undergo that just because of some people
que tienen estancado el deporte en Somerton.
that have the sports at a hold.
Porque en San Luis, Arizona y en Yuma,
Because in San Luis, Arizona and in Yuma,
los coaches pueden conseguir sus uniformes con los
the
negocios locales.
coaches can get the uniforms with the local businesses.
Que progrese también el deporte aquí, el fútbol, el soccer.
For the sports to progress here,
Mucho-
soccer, football,
Muchos papás llevamos a nuestros niños a San Luis, Arizona,
a lot of us parents take our kids to San Luis, Arizona.
incluyendo a veces nos han dicho que aquí en Somerton no hay nivel.
Including
de soccer.
sometimes here in San Luis, aquí en Somerton?
En Somerton no hay
In
nivel de
Somerton,
soccer
they tell us that it's not at the level in soccer
porque no los dejan hacer cabecita,
because they don't let them hit with the head,
por muchas reglas que hay.
because of a lot of rules that are in place.
A mi hijo ama el soccer.
My son loves soccer.
No sé si alguien tenga también un hijo que ama
I
el soccer.
don't know if anyone here has a son that loves soccer,
Pero pues yo de verdad pues me gustaría que progresara y estoy dispuesta
but
a apoyar.
I would really like it to further more, and I'm willing to support
En el equipo que toque mi niño, poner $100 para los uniformes.
in whatever team that my son ends up being in, to put $100 for the uniforms.
Y yo creo que muchos papás también.
And I think that a lot of parents would be also willing to do that.
Muchas gracias.
Thanks a lot.
Anybody else from the public wishing to address council?
Is there anyone else? Call to the public?
That's it, Mayor.
Look at the situation and tell us something, I just want to tell staff, don't put pressure. We know that Mr. Lozano is a leader in the community, but we want, clear, transparent process and make sure that the process, legal rules were followed, and if there were some violations, then feel free to enforce them. But if there's some irregularities, then let's look at that, and let's go through the appropriate channel to fix the Parks and Rec Commission, and but let's try to get this stuff and fixed, and maybe have a lessons learned document and learn, so this won't happen again.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to consent agenda. There are 4 items in consent agenda. February 21st, retreat minutes. February 22nd, retreat minutes. March 3rd, work session minutes. March 3rd, regular council meeting minutes. Anybody from council wishing to remove an item from consent agenda and discuss? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Gonzalez,
Second.
second by Councilman Villalpando. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to old business. Item number 1, discussion and possible approval of resolution number 2020-003, resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Somerton adopting land use assumption, IIP, and preliminary development fees for parks and recreation facilities and water facilities, declaring those certain documents filed with the city clerk of the city of Somerton to be public record.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you is discussion and possible consideration to approve resolution 2020-003. You may know we hired additional advice, our consultant, to prepare the land use assumption in the infrastructure improvement plan, the IIP. The city posted the draft on the mentioned fees on the city website on January 4th, 2019. On September 3rd and December 3rd, 2019, City Council held 2 public hearings for the proposed fees for the parks and water. City Council adopted the proposed land use assumption and infrastructure improvement plan, IIP, for parks and water on January 7, 2020. Resolution 2020-003 makes the January 7, 2020 council action official and allows for charging of the development fees for parks and recreation facilities and water facilities on March 23, 2020. Staff recommends to approve Resolution 2020-003.
Question, comment? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
There's a motion by Councilman Gonzalez, second by Councilman Villalpando. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business. My understanding is that item number 1 is not going to happen, right?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I could give a briefing, based on that. Originally, it was that representatives from Union County Health District were going to be here tonight, but they joined city staff on Thursday, so I can give a update on what the city's been doing.
Okay, item number 1, briefing on health district preparedness for disease and outbreak. Mr. McGee.
And Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to add that Councilman Galindo is with us on the phone. It's amazing to think that all that's happened with the last week with COVID-19. On Thursday, as I mentioned, representatives from the Union County Health District briefed city staff on efforts that the health district is taking to help contain the potential spread of COVID-19 and other viruses. There are currently no confirmed cases still of COVID-19 in Yuma County. The officials stress the basics that we've all heard so many times about washing hands and social distancing, which we're exhibiting here tonight, and of course staying home if you feel sick. Even before that meeting last week, we began taking precautions here at the city. We installed more hand sanitizer stations. We placed gloves, paper towels, and spray bottles of diluted bleach at the front counter so they can be disinfected 3 times a day. And front desk staff who handled cash transactions began using gloves. This past weekend, of course, Mayor Anaya signed a proclamation declaring an emergency to enable proactive measures to combat the spread of COVID-19. This act allows the mayor to take appropriate actions to help ensure the health and safety of our residents and our visitors. The mayor ordered that all city recreation programs and events be canceled or postponed until further notice. The senior center to be closed, delay of city utility shutoffs, and the cancellation of city facility rentals until the proclamation is lifted. A joint meeting with the Coca-Cola Tribal Council planned for this Thursday has been postponed until further notice. The city is working with the Regional Center for Border Health to provide delivery meals to the clients at the senior center. I do want to give a sincere thank you to the Regional Center for their initiative and assistance with this effort. We've placed a resource on the homepage of the city website that contains updates and information on COVID-19. We've produced other communications for social media that provide information and encourage residents to stay calm as you saw elected leaders come together this past Saturday to express that sentiment. We are reviewing and preparing for potential administrative leave for non-essential employees in the city to lessen the risk of spreading the virus. We are preparing plans in case we need to take the step of closing City Hall to the public, as some communities across the state have done, and are looking at ways to facilitate all forms of payments for our customers in case of such a scenario. We've also limited all work-related travel outside the county without my prior approval. We're reviewing the city's emergency response plan for application as needed. We've been in contact with area emergency agencies and NGOs for emergency coordination. We will have our cleaning contractor perform a deep cleaning of City Hall in the coming days. The Senior Center has already received a deep cleaning, and staff will take the opportunity while the Senior Center is closed to do some refreshes, repairs, and minor modifications. We've been hitting public restrooms twice a day with bleach, and then we're in the process of performing periodic deep cleaning and disinfecting of playground equipment. I've been in communication with local agencies and business. APS has pledged to ensure the grid stays healthy and minimize outages during this time. Superintendent Laura Noel described how the Somerton Elementary School District is providing free meals to young people at all 5 of their schools. I've met with Del Sol Supermarket today regarding ensuring that hand sanitizer is available for customers to disinfect their carts and hands, and they've been very forward-thinking and with some communications that will be going out to ensure that not only is everyone safe there, but everyone has a chance at getting the food and necessities that they need. Our staff has really stepped up during this time. Everyone throughout the organization has been doing what they can to make smart decisions and to encourage calm. We know that people are counting on us, and we're committed to meeting that challenge on behalf of the city. I want to thank the city attorney for his excellent guidance throughout this matter. I want to give a shout out to Luis, our IT professional. We threw this curveball at him at the last minute, and he pulled it off. We've got YouTube streaming in the lobby. We've got the conference call. So a lot of good things. So thank you, sir. And I'd like to acknowledge the leadership of Mayor Anaya during this time. We've been in constant communication, and his leadership and direction during this emergency has been decisive and solely with the health and well-being of our residents at heart. That's my report.
Thank you. Any comments?
If I may, Mayor, I just want to add in because I was on the briefing as well that happened here in the City Hall, and what I got on the meeting is the way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to the virus. Everything you mentioned, it doesn't make sense, because even though we don't know who has the virus, we still got to follow the procedures of, contact with one another within about 6 feet, and all that, everything you just mentioned, but it is a good way to prevent it, and I do give kudos to the mayor for what it's doing. It's been on board with everything that's going on and preventing, even though there's no case in Lima that we know of, you guys are really taking care of these issues and informing the community as well.
Thank you. And like I said,
Mayor, Councilmember Roldan.
Go ahead. Proceed, Mr.
Just
Roldan.
I know, Ian, kudos to you and other members also, but I think, we also want to thank Ian for for taking the direction that you gave them and take the ball and roll with it and did the deep clean that needed to do, especially at the senior center. I think those are the ones that everybody will need to take care of, but those are the people that will need to, put a little more focus on them. So thank you, Ian, for stepping up and following, what the mayor's direction was. So thank you for that.
Like I said at the beginning, this is proactive measures, and it might sound exaggerated, but the countries that haven't taken this the epidemic or pandemic serious, they ended up paying for it. And my concern is, we only have one fire station and we have limited resources, so we got to protect those resources, because the ultimate, we need to protect these lives, and so we're gonna do everything in our power, being proactive without panicking, and good thing there hasn't been any confirmed cases, but from all indications are that we are gonna get eventually some cases. So what we want to do is minimize those incidents. Moving on to item number 2. Discussion and possible action to authorize city manager to move forward with construction of water and sewer infrastructure as needed for Somerton High School commercial development for future city parks, using funds for sale of the 20-acre city property and current available water, sewer, and water impact fees.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. As you know, the development is happening in the west side of the city. The high school is coming, the city park as well, but also some developers interested on the 20 acres property. In order to reflect and be proactive for potential investors that are looking into the city, this item in the agenda will allow city staff to move forward using the city sales of the property, the revenues, and invest them in the infrastructure that's highly needed to proceed with the projects that are coming. Right now we have 2 committed projects, but they need the infrastructure. And as you know, also the high school may come soon as well, and they may be, instead of waiting for them, we like to be a little proactive. Also, right now we have an existing infrastructure impact fee funds. That amount can also be used to assist with the infrastructure development by authorizing the city manager and city staff to proceed with this infrastructure development. Will allow public works staff, Mr. Palacios, to continue with the design of the infrastructure development. Right now he has an engineer designing the lift station, the first main, and also the gravity line that will include, will cover the commercial 20-acre property. And after this, our intent is also to come back in the next meeting, potentially in the first or second meeting of April, to include the benefit area. Based on the benefit area, every future development is going to be paying the share of the cost of this infrastructure development. As part of the lift station cost, the fourth main, and also the gravity line for the sewer benefit area. For the water benefit area, it's going to include only the developments that facing Main Street, because the high school is going to be using the water connections along Cesar Chavez. So then they're going to be tapping into the infrastructure for water facing Main Street, potentially in the future. When they connect all the way to the north, the main line, the water line, may need to be extended. But at this point, right now, this item on the agenda is to allow city staff to continue to proceed with infrastructure development and using the sale of the property in the existing sewer impact fees. That would be a staff recommendation, Mayor.
Any questions, comments? Councilman?
Okay, so the whole project itself, it's 1.5 million, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so right now, what are exactly your requesting, just to proceed with the design phase? Because where exactly are you gonna get $1.5 million total for the whole project? That's what the information that was missing from your request, is exactly where all this money was gonna come from.
Yeah, right now we have the existing is 354,830. That's the existing funding that we have from the sewer impact fees. The money is available to start the project, and what's happening also is the investors, the developers are coming online. We have two already. They deposit their $5,000 each to proceed with these projects, but I need to also have the assurance from the city that the city is going to be continuing working on the infrastructure before they buy the property. One of them is buying 4.5 acres, and the other one is buying 4.2 acres. But they need to have the assurance that the city is going to proceed with the infrastructure, and the city is going to recover that funding later, because through impact fees and the share of the infrastructure development, eventually that money is going to go back to the city.
Yeah, eventually, Victor, but my question is where exactly you're gonna get the money to fund this? Because you're asking for 1.5 million. Where exactly is the money gonna come from right now? Because this cost is gonna be occurring in the immediate future, not 2, 3, 4 years down the road. And so my question is are you even considering phasing this whole project in? Because that would make probably more financial sense if we have limited funds. Design the whole thing and build it in phases. You know, it might cost us a little bit more, but guess what? If that's all we can afford now, then so be it. You know, we pay the portion where you're looking at the commercial development, and we absorb that cost, and that cost can be absorbed through, like you said, through impact fees and probably the sale of the property. But if we don't have 1.5, and you're not telling me where the 1.5 is coming from, then how can I sit here and say, hey, yeah, let's go for it?
Yes, you're correct, Mr. Villalpando. The amount that we have right now is 354,000, and the sale of property can happen in 6 months or before 1 year, because they want to move forward as soon as possible, and there will be an amount of it's about a little over $800,000 just for the sale of those 2 properties. Of course, we have 20 acres, but right now the committed is only 8.7 acres.
I have a question for Sam. Sam, if we build it in phases, that portion where the commercial property is going to go, is that a force line, or is that a gravity line?
Well, it's not.
May I just interrupt for a second? So if you can come to the mic, Sam, too, please. But the people on the phone, I've gotten a couple of requests from council members that please mute your mics if you're not, please mute your phones if you're not speaking. It's causing a little feedback and some cutout, so thank you.
Yes, for the sewer, basically this needs to be all in one, because we need the gravity line moving towards the lift station. The lift station will be built on Jefferson, basically half mile, which is on the middle of the main street in County 15. So the lift station will be there. So in order for the future development on the commercial side, send the flow, the sewage to the lift station, we need a gravity line. And then we need a lift station to pump the sewage, the force main, and then we need a force main. So basically we need those 3 items as a one phase.
But you don't need to put anything on the north side of Jefferson, correct? there's no.
No, correct. No, not
So
on,
it would be,
it will be just on the south.
yeah, and so.
Exactly.
So with that said, I think it's critical for us, the city, to get these agreements, these payback agreements before we start investing all this money. And so, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves as far as talking about construction, because we don't have any agreements. Yes, some of the property is owned by the city, but if we're gonna be selling the property to a couple of investors, then I think it should be contingent, that agreement should be part of the sale as well. So that way we can get a commitment from them, just like they're trying to get a commitment from us.
Mayor, that's correct, Mr. Villalpando, because as part of the sale, the buyer will have to agree not only on the amount, but also an agreement to build on the property within 1 year or a couple of years, depends on the size of the development. But yes, you're right, it has to be an agreement, but it has to be through the sale of the property. And that's what they're asking me to mention to you that, yeah, they're interested, but we need to have a commitment, they buying the property, but in the agreement, it has to be done also on their side, that the city is going to also move forward with infrastructure development. So yes, it will be an agreement, that's correct.
One last question there, and so this 1.5, is it just water and sewer up to Jefferson, Sam, or is it beyond Jefferson that we're carrying these water and sewer lines?
Well, the number that I provide to Hector is, I believe, is 1.3 for the sewer infrastructure, which is just for the south, not the north of Jefferson. We're not taking into consideration any portion of the north, but when all that is only residential. But when they come in, they will need to pay the fair share for the lift station and the force main. Yes.
So again, Mayor, my only concern is that, I like the project, I think it's much needed, but where is all the money going to come from? And that's one thing that they haven't clarified. So for my sake, I think we should move forward with the design phase and commit those dollars from the sale of the property and the impact fees that we have right now towards that. But without our financial director here to be able to possibly give us ideas or feedback on where we could get the rest of the money, then it's kind of hard for me to say, hey, yeah, go for the whole thing.
Yeah, and we're talking about payback agreement, but I would like to see also explore the improvement district. We just had an email from a person that works with improvement districts, and that's another way of financing that, and it goes with the properties. And since the city owns most of the property, so it wouldn't be far-fetched to get 50% of the property owners to sign if the high school agrees and we agree, and that way we still own the land, and when we split the land, it goes with the property. So there's different ways of doing it, but I think now where we're at right now is that we should approve the full design. That's gonna spike economic development, and we still have time from here on to decide how we're gonna pay it. And I agree, whenever we sell that land, it's gotta go to that district right there. Not back to the general fund, because we're gonna, we're looking into the new park and new infrastructure, the new park infrastructure, so the less that we can bond, that we can borrow, is better. So we use what our investments that we've had in the past and reinvested in infrastructure, and it's going to return, economic development that way. So at least, I do agree with you. Any other comments, questions? People on the phone, any comments? Council members? No comments?
You know what, Mayor? I do. It's kind of very difficult for me to kind of grasp everything that's being said. But I just want to make sure. Did Hector answer the question of Councilmember Villalpando about where we're going to be getting that money? Where that 1.5 is going to come from?
Not very clear, and I don't think that we're going to act on on that item right now for what I got from via or at least from the discussion. We are gonna proceed with the design, but as far as, you know, how we're gonna pay for it, there's different options on the table, and we also need to find a director to be able to.
Okay. Yeah, just a comment by Mr. Castillo. Yeah, the existing amount that we have for the infrastructure, the sewer impact fees, that as part of the request is to allow public works to continue with the design, because that's going to be needed to pay for the design. Mr. Pando mentioned, yes, it's in phases right now. The sale of the land is going to happen later, but at least public works can continue with the design and proceed with the project instead of waiting a couple of years later, because the sale of the land can happen in 6 months to a year. That can be used for the second phase of the infrastructure. But the funding that we have right now, it can be used to start with the project.
Does that answer your question, Councilman Castillo?
Okay. And I'm sorry, Mary. It's just, I'm having difficulty grasping everything. So I'll trust you guys on this one.
No, I'll make the motion to approve the design phase and the funding from the sale of the property and impact fees go towards that. But for the rest of the project itself, not until we get clarity from our finance director where the funding is coming from. I mean, I'll make that motion there.
Motion by Councilman Villalpando. Second by Vice Mayor Garcia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar.
Discussion and possible action to execute memorandum of agreement with Yuma County Public Health Service District for mass prophylaxis point of dispensing, POD, and that was item number 3.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak on this or discuss possible action on this. So just a little history on what we're trying to do here. Back when SARS came around, there was a mandate from the federal government for it was called the Cities Readiness Initiative. In it, they wanted cities to be able to dispense prophylaxis, whether it was a vaccine or any medication by mouth. So usually this is handled by Yuma County Public Health, but they've reached out and we've been working with them for the last 2 years, and the reason it took that long was because they had turnover, but they've identified the fire department, our local fire department, as one of those points of dispensing for these prophylaxis. The reason that this is important right now and it's now at the forefront is, as you have declared, Mayor, is we're in a national emergency. There is a pandemic. This does not apply right now. There are no vaccines currently, so this would not be in effect. If there was a vaccine and there was mass inoculations or mass prophylaxis being handed out, then we would be able to do this for city staff and for their dependents. So one of the things that we are asking is that Mayor and Council approve this memorandum of agreement so that we could be part of the CDC's Cities Readiness Initiative. Do you have any questions?
Questions, comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion for the mayor.
So motion by Councilman Villalpando, second by Councilman Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, discussion, consideration of adopting fee schedule for Cocoa Beach.
Again, this is going to be yes. So, Mayor and Council, on this discussion is In the past, the Cocoa tribe was in charge of running the local speedway, but they since then have hired speedway managers, and it's an independent contractor. So because in the past we were part of that, we went through our IGA, we would provide the coverage for them for ambulance and for fire. There would be no additional charges. Since then, since they went to a private contractor, we only have a fee schedule for our ambulances. We do not have anything for our fire engines or brush trucks. That was a little complex because through the GSA, the General Service Accounting, there is nothing that says this is the amount for fire engines that the government should be paid. The only people that had that was the Department of Forestry, which they actually give us a rate if we were to respond for a mutual aid like the wildland fires or doing wild urban interface. But the rates are really high per day. So what we did was we took into account their daily rates, divided that by a work day, and then what would be an overtime rate for our firefighters, for 2 firefighters. That's how we came up with the hourly rate for this fee schedule. It would come out to if somebody wanted to be, if the speedway wanted us to be there with our fire engine and our rescue equipment, it would cost them $96.35 per hour. And right now we're asking if you would consider adoption of this fee schedule. Currently, we as a department are no longer participating in the speedway because of the emergency when our dedicate our resources to the city. But in the future, when we do start doing the races again, this is something we'd like to implement.
Mr. Carlos, was this discussed with the company that runs the speedway? And
we have discussed it.
Are we going to impose it on them?
No. They know that we have. They were asking us for a contract, but we couldn't sign a contract or an agreement, with them to provide that coverage because we didn't know what we were going to be. There was no fee schedule adopted by City Council, and we had never presented it before. So this is one of the parts to it.
So they tended to agree with.
Right.
I have a question, but this is more for legal. When we revised the fees for Parks and Rec, was it done through a resolution? Do we have to do? Is it? I think we would have to look.
When I reviewed the fee schedule, I was under the impression that this was just going to be part of an agreement, and that the Cocoa was going to, or the Speedway people were going to simply agree to that under a contract. But if we're adopting just a general fee schedule, we need to place it on our website and provide notice to the residents.
So this is just for the Speedway.
Okay, so if it's just we're agreeing that this type of understanding for the purpose of entering a contract with Speedway, that's fine. But in order to adopt a citywide fee schedule, that needs more time, resolution, and possibly even posting on a notice.
So will we have to wait for a contract to be agreed upon? Would that be the format, or do we require an action?
I believe legal would have to draw out the contract or.
Well, I guess preliminarily, if you guys agree to this type of scenario, you can instruct staff to use that as a basis for negotiating our contract. I think that's the action that we would need next.
I'm fine with it. We discuss it with something that. But so my question is: do we require an action now, or is it just direction and then bring it back when a contract is ready to be executed?
I believe so. That's the best option, is to execute a contract and include that as an exhibit, and have the parties bring that forward for approval.
Okay.
I think that would be appropriate, Mr. Carlos.
Okay, we'll get that done. Thank you, sir.
And we're going to skip item number 5 because we're going to go into executive session on that item and then come back. But before we go, we're going to go into summary of current events and or any future agenda items.
I think you've probably heard enough from me, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I would say that working on the COVID-19 situation has been about 98% of my time. I'm hoping for some stabilization of that situation, as we all are, so we can get back to our lives as usual. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
You're gonna call staff that's on the phone?
Well, I was kind of looking over at Sam.
Really quick, Mayor and Council, just to update, our street crew continue working on the right-of-way and pathway maintenance. This rained last week and it's gonna rain, hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, it's gonna rain probably tomorrow, so we're gonna be very busy with the maintenance. We'll keep going with the maintenance on those basins, right-of-way and pathways. And also an update on the water project tank. We had the mandatory previous meeting last week, March 5th. Several contractors attended. We also have scheduled the bid opening for this week, March 19th, but we're going to postpone for next week. This was a petition for several contractors, several possible bidders to extend 1 week because of the issue that we are having. So that's all. Thank you.
Just want to update Mayor Consuls. I met with the owner of the Metro PCS building last Friday, and with the engineer as well. They bought the property and they want to remodel the building. They're looking forward to doing the same model they proposing for this corner, the rental house restaurant. So they'll be moving soon with the remodel of the building. So he couldn't buy that corner property here, but he was able to buy the oak side. So very soon we're going to have another Chinese restaurant in Main Street.
What is the time frame for this one?
Well, the remodel may take maybe 3 months for remodel, maybe 4 months. But they closed the property 2 weeks ago. And we met with the engineer for the design, the internal design of the outside, the facade. It's going to be changed as well. Thank you.
Luis, do you mind grabbing Chief Juarez real quick, see if she's available to? Anyone on the phone? Carmen Juarez, do you have a brief summary to give?
And you guys saw Mr. Mesafio outside?
He left already.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he left. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I didn't have much prepared because I was doing a little bit of security outside, but just to update you, our academy has been postponed, it's been canceled, so we don't have anyone showing up to our facility. The house program that is also housed at our facility has been postponed as well. They're having very few people come into the building. Our services are still going. We're responding to the houses where needed. We're trying to take as many calls by phone as much as we can so we don't expose our office to being out and about, but we're still here. We're servicing the community. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any director on the phone? Oh, they're speaking and muted themselves.
Watching TV.
I guess that's it, Mr. Mayor.
You know what, a couple of weeks ago, we had the opportunity to play in the Josefina Yepes golf tournament. I just want to thank a couple of employees, and you might have to help me out. I know I mentioned your name, it was Oscar and Joyce, yeah. They were out there and participated, represented the city very well. Did have the opportunity also to speak with Mr. Salcido, who was I was golfing with, and La Michoacana. He spoke about a little bit about the Michoacana, and it is still in the process, and it is a done deal. So it's just a matter of them designing it. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Hector, but yeah, he did. Yeah. So he's excited about that project. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Councilman Castillo?
You know what? No, that's fine. I have nothing.
How's Washington, D.C.?
I'm sorry?
How was National League of Cities?
Okay, look, you know what? It was actually it was very good. Vice Mayor and I, Vice Mayor Garcia, she set up a meeting with Congressman Grijalva. We actually sat with them, had a nice conversation regarding, our state, our state and city, needs. So just want to thank Vice Mayor Garcia for setting that up. During the conference, we did speak with an NLC service line warranty program, which I think it's they offer kind of like an insurance for underground water lines, for our residents. It is optional. I have some information on here that I wanted that I to share with you and Ian. And I don't know if that's something that we could offer our residents. It's not mandatory, but it's just I think that it was a good idea. So if a quick example of this would be if a resident has issues with the line, with their water line underground, sometimes they have a hard time, realizing, they think it's a city issue when in reality it's their issue because it's within their property line, and then they expect us to fix it, but they're not knowledgeable of how it works if it falls within their property line. So I think that's something that maybe we can kind of explore a little bit more and just put it out there, and if some residents are interested, we can go ahead and offer it. When we spoke with the representative from the service line warranty, they take care of everything. They take care of advertisements. They'll take care of everything. The only thing that they ask of us is the use of our city logo. So I have some contact information here that I can share and see if that's something that we wanna offer our residents. But it was a very good conference. Some of the sessions required a payment. So but some didn't. But it was good. It was good. Something that really stood out to me, like something that really, my aha moment was when the president from NLC stated that the study data suggests that the American people, they have more trust on local government control when they compare it to the state and federal level. And they stated that 67% of people have a favorable opinion towards us, local elected officials within our community. So to me, that's something that I don't take lightly, and it just kind of reassured and confirmed, the critical and important role that we play within our community. That our constituents, residents, they trust us. They believe more in us than our state and federal politicians. So it was good. It was a very good conference. We enjoyed it. But that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. We did look at the NLC insurance years ago, and that was a concern, the logo and just setting a precedent, because the way they do it is like that they're part of the city. So, but that's probably something, if council wants to bring in, as a future item, that would be a good one. But like I said, we probably saw it maybe 7 years ago, Councilman, and we weren't because we opened it to a company using our logo, making kind of, setting a precedent. So that we opened our city logo to anyone to come and send letters through our water bills to residents. We were concerned that it was going to be kind of mixed with the city trying to push that. So, Vice Mayor Garcia.
I just want to reiterate what Councilman Castillo said. We were able to take advantage of a lot of, of the free sessions, and very informative. I do also have some information on ideas that I'd like to consult with you and Ian regarding our teenagers and stuff that we can involve them in with with the city. You know, I took a couple of notes and got some information on that. You know, because usually that's the where we get the feedback that that age range is not very active, or we don't have much stuff for them to do in the city. So I'll be going over to Ian and talking to you about that as well. I thought it was a very good conference. I also like to thank Ian and Jesus Mesa for being very proactive with our senior center and getting everything squared away with the meals, because as we know, that's the most vulnerable population, and we need to really take care of that portion as well as the whole city. But we don't want to leave our seniors without that assistance needed. That's it on my part.
No invitation to the White House this time? No?
I'm sorry?
No invitation to the White House this time?
Oh, no.
No.
We just went with the congressman.
Councilman Gonzalez?
I'm good, Mayor.
Councilman Galito?
No, nothing right now. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Roland?
Yeah, man, again, you know, it was, thank you, Vice Mayor Garcia for the experience of going and, you know, Capitol Hill and you know, give us a little tour there and also, talking to Congressman Grijalva about our city. And at the same time, you know, some of the sessions that, you know, I went, I think, Vice Mayor Garcia went is, you know, how to get people to vote, you know, and ideas that I think we can share later on, you know, and talking, you know, go to the high schools, especially to talk to the seniors, that, you know, in high school and you know, not to specifically go vote for a person, but just to go out and vote. So I think those ideas that we can share and we can start promoting that, so we can get our younger citizens so they can start, you know, also do, you know, their voting. But it was good. We won $500 for one of the Tamale Festival. They did a raffle and we won. So it was a good meeting and a good session. There was a lot of good sessions. Some of them, like, you know, Vice Mayor said we have to pay, but the free one that we went, I think it was good information that we can take back to our city and things that maybe we can do to better ourselves. But so that's it, man.
Thank you. We, well, last week, Hector and I went to GYDC, so we got updates. Right now, at the top of my head, I don't remember there was any highlights that you recall. It was probably business as usual. There was really no new information there. Next Monday, we have, well, I don't have, did we hear for Fronted?
No, certainly yet.
Yeah, and yeah, with Forefronted, usually it's a group of about 15 people, and it's our turn to host it, but with this new recommendations, I asked that only the board of directors or the voting members, which are the mayors and one of the supervisors, meet, and we're waiting on that. You know, this week, it just, you know, the COVID virus dominated most of the, starting from, you know, on Saturday, you know, the mayor's called an emergency meeting, and you know, we wanted to assure the public that we were being proactive and that there was no need to panic. It is scary, but the good thing is that we still haven't had a confirmed case here in Yuma County, and we're doing everything we can, and if we need to do more, we will, but at least, like I said, we feel that what we're doing right now is appropriate, but we're going to continue. He said it changes by the hour, just the recommendations. At one time, it was no more than 50 people, now 10, and it's just, it's been changing, and so we're hoping that we can get this curve before it starts hitting exponentially, but good to hear in Yuma County, we still don't have any confirmed cases, but we're gonna continue to monitor and be working with staff, and, as we come, we're gonna ask for your support, also for your advice. We know your trade, and the next phase might be just having a bare bones staff and sending the rest of the staff home to prevent the virus. But like I said, it's just changing day by day, and we're going to be monitoring the situation. And again, public safety, let us know anything you need. We're in constant contact with all the agencies, with the mayors, with the state, with the governor. Let us know, and all we need is request. We can do is request, and they're putting other resources into public safety. So just let us know what you need. With that said, we're gonna have a 5-minute recess and then go into executive session. Is there a motion? There a motion to go into executive session? So motion by Councilman Villapando, second by Councilman Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Luis Galindo.
Has left.
Jesus Roldan.
Martha has left.
Missed a little bit.
Has left.